everyone, welcome to After Class with Ballet for All,
a podcast by two passionate adult ballerinas about all things adult ballet related.
and some random thoughts in between.
We're so glad you're here.
So grab your water bottle
Or a cup of coffee.
and join us for a quick chat after class.
Welcome to a new episode of After Class. Today's episode is going to be all about ways that you can save money in your ballet training. How's it going, Elena? It's good to see you.
Hello, it's good to be back. Oh my God, I miss so much when we don't do one episode, which we're doing every week. But if we don't, I just miss it so much.
I know, I do too. I always have such a good time doing these that when we go for a little stretch without recording, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to record again.
And this episode is going to be really exciting. It's the many tricky things that we do to save money, even starting from the classes to the clothes that we wear, even the way we buy the ballet classes, if we buy them online or in person. So I think this is going to be a pretty exciting episode for everyone.
Yeah, very practical. I know ballet is a very expensive hobby, which we both know from personal experience. And I know that, even people when they're thinking about starting ballet often worry about the money factor and how expensive it can be. So hopefully this episode can give you guys some practical tips of ways that you can cut corners, save a little money here and there so that you have more to spend on things like classes and whatever else you need. So want to jump right into it?
Yeah, definitely. So what would be our first point, Hannah?
So I think one that I really love to use is taking YouTube classes instead of live classes or in-person classes when I'm in seasons where I need to save a little bit more money, or even just in general. I mean, if you are willing to take YouTube classes, which are free, you can fit a lot more classes potentially into your schedule than if you had to pay for every single class. So, you might not be able to afford to take 5 classes a week if you had to pay for each one of those. But if you're willing to utilize YouTube, you could easily take 5 classes a week, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I would say also a way to be smart with that would be, let's say that you were gifted 5 classes with me, for instance, which had happened already, and take one of my classes, one of my private classes, get all the feedback you can from me, get as many details from that class that we did. You will have a recording, and then you can go to YouTube, any YouTube class. Keep working on the feedback that the teacher gave you. Take as many notes as possible, and then stretch those 5 private classes that you got for as long as you can. So you can have a class today, and then in 2 months, you can have the next class, and you can either see you improved if you have a peaked on your technique or your artistry, whatever, have the class, and then you will have, again, more feedback to use your YouTube classes. So that would be a really good way to have private, save some money, and then have as many classes in a week as possible.
Yeah, that's such a good point to use that in-person time to kind of fuel your personal practice and utilize YouTube in that way. That's a great first tip. So also talking about private lessons, I think another great way to save money is to ask your teacher or someone that you're interested in taking privates with if 60-minute lessons or an hour and a half lessons are more than you can afford. Ask about 30-minute privates. You can actually get a lot done in a 30-minute session. And I think sometimes people don't even think to ask for a shortened time frame, but I do 30-minute privates with you. I've done a 30-minute private with my in-person teacher. And I think people would be surprised with how much you can get done in 30 minutes.
If you make sure, again, to use your YouTube classes right, you get warm before those 30 minutes. You have done a whole ballet class, and then those 30 minutes don't need to go to an entire bar center, Allegro, and it doesn't last that long. But for 30 minutes, you can get your periods right. You can get your point work, which is what you're doing, Hannah, trying to get those point work as best as you can. But you know how to use a YouTube class or any other class before we get on the point shoes. So you're warm, you already had a good training, you already had an amazing warm-up. Then you have your brain, your mind, and your body are both ready to jump into point. Or to jump on pirouettes, or let's say today you want to talk about round the Yaman layers, and we spend 15 minutes talking about that, and the other 15 minutes doing a combination to improve it. So that's a great way as well. And with me, we've been doing that for a while now, and I think it's definitely worth it. I'm pretty sure that the teachers are going to be quite flexible. If not, come and find me.
Yeah, I think most teachers understand the financial component of being a dancer can be challenging, because anyone who's a dance teacher has also been a student at one point and understands that it's expensive. And so I've always had teachers that are willing to work with me in that way, which is really awesome and beneficial. I think we should do a whole episode actually in the future just on how to maximize your time in private lessons, because I think, like you were saying, that's such a great tip for getting the most out of your privates, is coming to your private with specific things that you want to work on. And so again, that's why I think a 30-minute private can really work if you have specific things and you know what you want to work on. But we'll kind of stop there on that one, because I think we should do a whole episode just on privates and how to maximize.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And I'm pretty sure that we have so many tips from doing it with you and me together. Like, we managed so well to get your private classes right to where you wanted them. So yes, that would be perfect. Let's leave it there.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Stop ourselves, which is hard for us to do sometimes. We like to talk. So what's another hack that you've used to save money in your training?
I'm going to jump to a funny one. So I remember since I was little, I will be using my ballet shoes. And as soon as I see the big toe start to get worn out, I will swap them and wear the right shoe on the left foot and the left shoe on the right foot. That way I have brand new big toes again, and they are not like worn out. And I will put those shoes as long as I can. And I will keep swapping them and like changing them, just so they don't get worn out on the big toe that fast, because that's the part of the shoe that gets like used the most as you're doing your pirouettes and you work on releve. So to me, that worked 100%. It will increase half of the life of the shoe for sure.
Honestly, though, that is a great one, because since ballet slippers and point shoes actually aren't made with like a right or a left foot specific in the way that street shoes are, you can wear them on either foot. Like, that's actually really smart for ballet slippers, just to swap them as soon as they start to wear in one place. Because I always honestly just like wait till the big toe completely wears out and my toe's sticking out, and then I just have to throw them away. But I'm gonna try that.
Don't do that. And it does feel, so nothing, don't take me wrong, it doesn't feel perfectly when you change them, because obviously the shoe have been molding for the last month or two to that foot, right foot. Obviously you have to be very mindful, open-minded. You have to be like knowing that you're trying to save money. So once you change those shoes to the next feet, to the other foot, you will understand that it feels a little bit funny. It feels a little bit, just get over it. Let it pass for a week or two, and then it will be perfect. It will mold again to the other foot. And it does work, though. It does work perfectly. The other one, which I do remember when I was in Cuba and I was a student, it was a really bad situation. We didn't have that many shoes, and we didn't have a shop to buy them. And my mom will take them. She will like turn it inside out. She will find a cloth or something like really strong, and she would just sew it around the big toe. Once the hole was open, she would turn it back in, and there you go. Problem solved.
You know, if you need to like put a patch on denim or anything else, that's how you do it. You know, just turn it inside out, and I mean, whatever works. Well, another one for shoes, since we're talking about shoes, is for point. I remember hearing this hack when I was first starting to do point, seeing it online somewhere, about jet gluing your shoes, and jet gluing like the shank specifically to kind of harden it back up when it's starting to soften. And so you best believe I bought some jet glue and I tried it, and it works really well. And it's kind of funny because I actually only jet glue my right shoe, because that's the side that dies faster for me, because it's my stronger, more dominant foot. And so jet gluing the shank makes it so that both of my shoes die around the same time, whereas if I don't do that, my right shoe dies first. So if you also have that problem, or you can jet glue both to make them last longer, there is, a point at which the jet glue can no longer. Like if your shoes are dead and in the grave, like jet glue is not going to resurrect them. But what would be another hack for saving money?
I would say trading your professional skills for ballet lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, for instance, you, Hannah, we could offer, if I wasn't a Cuban and I didn't know how to dance salsa, I will have to, I will have loved for you to be like, Yelena, what about if I teach you salsa and you teach me ballet? And that will have been a round deal.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it would have been just about to be perfect, really.
Yeah.
So imagine someone else who has other skills. Like, let's say someone calls me like, hi, Yelena, I can check your website and get everything up to date and the CEO and SEO or whatever. And I'm like, how many ballet classes do you want?
Yeah.
It is true, right? Like anything that can help someone else, it's definitely trying. And I'm seriously, if someone comes up with that idea and calls me, I would be like, why not? Because first, we're not doing this to be millionaires. I'm doing this because I love it. I'm doing it because I know it's helping others to make the dream come true. And if someone's gonna check my website and make it 100% perfect, and the only thing that I'm doing is sharing my love and passion and my knowledge of ballet with you, to me, that's a perfect win-win deal.
A lot of people love doing trades. Like my husband and I are videographers and photographers. That's what we do for a living. And we do a lot of trades for different things. Like we take salsa classes because my husband's been learning, which has been super fun. And that's how we get our salsa lessons, is we trade for some videography, photography work. And we basically have unlimited class passes at a Latin dance studio. And so I would imagine that, a ballet studio would probably be open to the same thing if you have, like you said, if it's graphic design or website services, SEO, photography. There's so many different skill sets that are tradable. So if that's something you've never thought about doing, you can always ask. The worst that could happen is someone says no. It's like, I think people sometimes are afraid to ask, and it's like, well, so someone says no, what's the big deal? At least you asked, and it might work out. Most of the time people say yes. Yeah.
Don't be afraid of asking.
Yeah, it's a great way to save money. So maybe now we should jump into ways that you can save that are specifically related to clothes and things like that. If you've been listening to this podcast, we love ballet clothes. So let's talk about ways that we can save in that area. You should share the way that you guys would stretch making your tights last longer in Cuba. That's a fun one.
Yeah, so the way, as soon as the thighs are run, like they're running a little bit, we will use nail polish. Obviously, we didn't have that many options of colors, so we will use whatever was nearby. So we would just, in each end, we would put a little bit of nail polish, and that will stop it for a long time. That would be really good. So I would recommend if you have like a clear top coat or a very light nail polish.
Crazy that works, because when you told me that, I was like, oh, that's amazing. That's just one of those things I never would have thought. But, most girls have clear nail polish laying around. And so, yeah, just do that little dot on the tights, and that stops it from running. Another thing I do with tights to avoid having to just throw them out entirely is a lot of times I'll just cut mine into shorts if the run is like below the knee, because I like wearing shorts. I know some people don't, but if you like wearing cutoff tights, just cut above where the run is, and then you'll at least get a little more life out of them before you have to toss them entirely.
Another way, rather than throwing them away, would be getting we will cut the part of the shorts and wearing them like a jumper.
I've seen that. Yeah. It's like you basically it sounds funny, but it's like you cut out the crotch of the tights, right? And that
goes straight on your neck.
Yeah, that becomes the part that goes over your head, and then the legs become the arms. And then what would be like the waistband is what kind of would be like the bottom of your shirt. But it's really
Yeah.
cute. I was just watching a video the other day where a girl had done that, and I was like, oh, it's super cute.
It is cute and super fashionable at the moment, and it
Yeah.
will never be weird. It will always be, oh, where did she get that from? Like only old schools would do that. So
And it looks cute with black tights and pink tights. I've seen it with
yes,
both, and I think both of them look cute. So, yeah, if you want to get creative with the scissors, you can definitely repurpose your tights a couple of different ways. Another hack that I love when it comes to clothing is shopping secondhand. Most of my leotards I buy secondhand because leotards tend to be, especially for higher quality leotards that are going to last you a long time, they tend to be pricey. And there's a secondhand site that I love called tutulist.com. And it's all dancewear and it's so discounted. I mean, usually more than 50% off of what it would be on the retailer
yes,
site full price.
such a great option.
And it's also really easy to sell your own things. Like I've listed leotards that either like don't quite fit me anymore, I'm just not getting use out of, even warm-ups like leg warmers and skirts and things that you're not using.
Wow.
And I've been able to sell them and make some money rather than just throwing them in a bag. And yeah, or even like taking them, to a charity shop where it's pretty unlikely that a dancer is going to find them, so I'd rather sell it to someone else who's actually going to use it and get some wear out of it. So that's a great way. That's actually probably, if I had to think of what is the way that I have saved the most amount of money in dance, it's by shopping secondhand, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely
another way too. If like for things that you have to buy new, I know for obviously things like slippers and stuff, point shoes, you need to buy new. One thing that I've been doing recently is, now that I have been fitted for my point shoes and I know, my size, my brand, my style, and I just need to reorder them, I've been buying them off of a website called dancesupplies.com, where every purchase you accumulate points. And then after you get a certain amount of points, you get a discount. So I was actually just recently, I got like $15 off of my last pair of point shoes because I had bought my last few pairs on the website and accumulated points. And then my next pair, I got a discount. So for things like that, if you know your size, you know what you need, think about creating an account on the website so that way that you're getting the points and then you're getting the discounts, because you can save some good money by doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And you get all excited when you get the points and you know that you're not just spending money, but you're getting some reward exchange. That's pretty awesome. That's just a great option. And on that same topic, if you think about purchasing private or in-person or group classes packages, it's like at least on my website, for instance, if you buy one private class, it's $40. But if you buy 10 private classes, you'll save 15%. If you buy 20 private classes, you save up to 25%, which my classes are already in a really good price compared to other classes. And when you are offered 25% discount for 20 classes, it's pretty awesome. And again, you can divide it in 20 classes over a year, but you don't need to have the 20 classes one after the other one. You can stretch them out, as we explained before, have 45 minutes classes rather than a full hour. And that become way more classes at the end. And I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure that maybe studios, in-person studios, have that offer, and it could be worth asking for it.
Yeah, I know the studio I go to in person, they do the same thing where if you buy a package of, I think, like 6 classes, 8 classes, something like that, the larger package you buy, you get a larger discount per class, just the way it breaks down. And so that's a great way to save some money. Of course, you have to be able to put out a little bit more upfront. But, if you know you're going to spend the money anyway, because you know that you're going to be taking class every week, every couple weeks, whatever it is, you might as well spend it up front if you can and save money in the long run. So that's another great way to do it.
Yeah, that's a pretty great way. And for instance, my website has it permanently. So you can go to those 20 classes or 10 classes with the 15 and 25% discount. But a lot of websites do it within certain holidays. schools we're doing within the Christmas time, or I don't know, find those seasons that you know there's going to be discount and wait until then to get it. It's like the financial year and end of financial year in Australia. I didn't know that was a thing. This is my first year living here. And I was like, oh, financial year, end of the financial year, and a huge, massive discounts, and I didn't take any opportunity of it. And there was discount for everything, even for blinking. If you want to blink cheaper, you can get a discount for that. That was discount for everything.
Yeah, I think the equivalent of that, at least in the States, is like the holidays, usually, you know, Black Friday and all those deals. A lot of the dance related websites and services will also do, like you said, around the holidays, big promotions for Christmas or for the new year. Like, it's kind of similar even with gyms. A lot of times gyms will do discounts on memberships for the new year. And so, yeah, those are great times to, if you're someone who likes to budget and pre-plan for spending, if you can set aside some money and give yourself a little bit of a budget for making purchases around that time when things tend to go on sale, you can stretch your money that way too.
Yep. That's a really good option. Just go to your ballet classes, make sure that you like that t-shirt, that you like those classes, and start Googling what are the options.
Well, I think this has been a really packed episode. Lots and lots of tips. So hopefully people found this helpful. Hopefully you can at least take a couple of these and use them to maximize your ballet budget and save money where you can, so that you can have more money to spend on classes and your training, things like that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thank you so much. We will see you in our next episode. Thank you for listening to After Class with Ballet for All.
Join the community on YouTube and Instagram, or come dance with us in our weekly Zoom classes for adult ballerinas like you.
Links included in the episode description. Special thank you to our sponsors.
See you next time after class. Podcast produced by Mission Bridge Media.